I'll tell you this right now, Steve. I just spoke with the son of Sunja, and he says he wants the most important thing to be known is that the love from the community has helped them so much. Look at this. The candles are still burning after a vigil last night. So many flowers, so much love and support from the community, really an outpouring of support. Her son says that they came here. They started this store in 1979 and says if it wasn't for this community, they wouldn't have gotten where they are. So clearly a huge staple in this community and a huge loss. Here's what exactly happened on Saturday night. After 5 p.m., two men came into the store, demanded money, and she gave them the money. But they shot her anyway, an incredibly senseless act. So last night a crowd gathered outside the store for a vigil to remember Soon and support her family. Now the wife, the mother, she was a grandmother as well, a familiar face to so many who saw her every day at the Handy Corner store. We've been here this morning seeing community members coming in, showing their support still because they are open today. Well, the car that the suspects were driving, the cowards I should say were driving, was abandoned outside Pierce County. They still haven't found them. They're looking for the suspects, and here's this description given to us by police. They said they're looking for two men, dark-complected black males in their 20s, approximately 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. They were wearing beanie caps at the time of the robbery and hospital-style surgical masks to cover their face. And anyone who knows anything about this is asked to call Crime Stoppers. So please look at your screen for that number right there. Now back here live at the memorial at the Handy Corner store, you can see people are hoping that not only the suspects are found, but that they gather around this family at this time of need to remember this woman who was invited to people's high school graduations, to weddings, who became not just a woman who ran the store, but a true part of the community and family to so many. Live in Puyallup, I'm Amatia Idrisi. Back to you in studio.